Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining Tempus Nova Tip Time. My name is Lisa Cabot, and I am a Senior Account Manager with Tempus Nova. Today, we have a very special guest presenting for us, ZixCorp. And from ZixCorp, we have Rob Forte, who will be presenting. Rob has been with Zix for the past 6 months and has been working in security for over 10 years. He is very passionate about keeping customers' data safe. Now, when Rob isn't working, you can find him on the golf course or on his boat trying to entertain 2 3.5-year-old twin boys. So as you can imagine, Rob is one busy man. But with everything, I'm going to go ahead and pass things over to Rob, and Rob's going to go ahead and start the presentation.
All right, everyone, can you hear me? Lisa?
Rob, I can hear you great.
Loud and clear, good. All right, so let's kick this off. Can you see my screen just to confirm, Lisa?
I sure can.
All right, excellent. So thanks for the great introduction. This is Rob Forte from Zix. I'm going to go ahead and run you through just a few brief slides around Zix Encrypt. And then we can hit on our other offerings towards the end of the presentation. So something that makes Zix very unique in the email encryption world is our best method of delivery. And I'm going to build out this whole slide. I just think it works better that way. So what we do, we have 3 methods of delivery, and we start from the top here. So what we're going to do when you send a message is do a domain lookup. And if that person on the other end is also a Zix customer, we're going ahead and deliver that mail via MIME Encryption transparently directly into their inbox with no passwords or portals. If we're unable to do that, which is sometimes the case, we'll fail directly over to TLS. And if we can make that TLS connection or handshake, we will go ahead and do that. And again, deliver the message directly into the user's inbox with no passwords or portals. Lastly, if we're unable to do either of the first 2 methods, we still need to have a way to deliver that message, and we will deliver it via a portal. So the user on the other end will receive a notification to click and go to a securely branded portal unique to your organization. And these are just a few of the ways we can trigger encryption. So based on policy, we can decide if things or emails should be quarantined or blocked, branded or encrypted. So oftentimes people will encrypt messages. They want to force encryption and absolutely make sure that message is encrypted. Go ahead and use a keyword. And a lot of people use secure or encrypt. And if you put that anywhere in the body of the message or the subject, it will go ahead and encrypt that message for you. We have some DLP content triggered actions, or many of them rather. So this is kind of, again, something that makes Zix a bit unique in the industry. You have some of the best filters in the industry around things like HIPAA, PCI, PHI. So we're going to go ahead and automatically encrypt those messages. So oftentimes, as you may know, people do forget to trigger encryption. So we're going to go ahead and scan all those outgoing messages and catch them on their way out to make sure they are encrypted. We can do actions by sender or recipient domain. Number of recipients, oftentimes we see people that want to encrypt messages that are going to, say, over 10 people, just to make sure that nothing's leaving the organization and going to that many people unencrypted. And here's some, just a kind of brief list of some of the filters that come right out of the box. So financial, GLIBA, healthcare, HIPAA, education, and obviously social security numbers and credit card numbers. So we're able to really essentially pick up anything that's going to need to be encrypted in a secure fashion. And this is essentially let me build that out. I'm sorry, this is essentially what your email would look like. When I mention no passwords or portals, and when I allude to the word transparency, the way we use that word, is essentially that email is getting delivered directly into the user's inbox. But you see at the top there of the message where it says this message was securely sent using ZixCorp. Now, of course, that's fully brandable, but what that's there to do is just it's intended to let the person on the other line know that that message was sent securely. But again, right into their inbox, no passwords, no portals. But as I mentioned, there will be cases that you will need to actually have your customers log into a portal. In that case, your portal is completely customizable and brandable. So you're going to send your recipients to a page that looks like this, but with all your logos and all of your messaging on there as well. And this is a bit about our full suite of offerings. So we're not just an email encryption company. A lot of folks know us as an email encryption company. That's kind of where we got our start, and it was our bread and butter for the longest time. However, we do offer a full email archiving platform, not only for email, but for many different channels such as Skype for Business, Facebook, LinkedIn, really anything that you'd want to archive within your organization, we can go ahead and do that. Then we also offer threat protection. A lot of people in the industry call this spam blocking, but it's a little bit more than just that. So we defend against spam, viruses, malware, ransomware, and then we've got a real multi-layered approach there. So once you have something like that set up, you really want to make sure that you have a multi-layered approach that's going to go ahead and block everything that could possibly come into your network. And then we also offer business continuity for disaster recovery. And the one thing that's not on this slide, we also offer something called ZixOne, and that's a mobile email application. But what's kind of unique about it, or very unique about it, is no data or email is stored on the device. It's more of a streaming service. So if somebody in your organization decides to leave, you can just cut them off immediately. Or if they lose their phone, you can cut them off immediately because nothing's actually stored on the device, which is a little bit unique and different from many of the mobile applications out there. I know I went through that fairly quickly, but if there's any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. I actually have one of my SEs on here as well if there's anything that gets a little bit over my head. So I don't know, Lisa, I think you have a method of receiving questions. Were there any questions typed in? Or?
Yeah, I do. One of the questions we got are how many messages are able to be delivered transparently with Zix?
So it varies obviously by user or by organization, but what we've done is compiled statistics from all of our customers and many of our customers, and what we're doing or what we're seeing right now is that between 75 and 80% of those emails are delivered transparently, and that's because we have a massive network of encryption customers, over 19,000, or I think it might be over 20,000 now. But outside of that, most corporate or most enterprise email servers are able to accept a TLS connection, so we're able to deliver those messages transparently up to 80% of the time. Even actually, I've seen higher than that. So quite often, your recipients would not have to use a portal experience.
Great, thanks for answering that. And I do have one more here. What support offerings does Zix have?
I'm sorry, I missed that. What was that?
It's the person's asking what support offerings does Zix have?
Oh, support offerings. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I actually should have alluded to that maybe in the presentation. But so everything that we sell as software as a service, it comes with support built in. It's 24/7, 365, US-based support. So we've got it's a full support offering around email as well as phone, so you can access somebody at all times if need be. So we consider ourselves one of the best support organizations in our industry.
Wonderful. Well, we do not have any more questions, Rob. I do so much appreciate you joining us today, and everyone else on this call. Thank you so much for joining Tuesday Tip Time with Tempus Nova. Don't forget to join us again next week at the same time, and we will be having Zix back in a couple of weeks as well because they have some wonderful products out there we'd love to give you more information on. But I hope everybody has a fantastic day. If you need any additional support or questions, please don't hesitate to email info@tempusnova.com. Thanks so much. Bye, everyone.
Thanks.